All right, so continuing on here, still using this underhook in combination with our high crotch. We just went over a throw by. Like I said, not a technique I was really great at, but recognizing it's there, knowing you have those options. Another option we have here, in which I found myself in this much more, is when I'm shooting my high crotch with an underhook and you get somebody who's really clamping down hard with that underhook side, where they're not letting me do this and jack this arm up. So if you would imagine when I was trying to do the throw by before, where he's kind of letting me do that, not necessarily letting me, but just not aware of it. Oftentimes, if I'm trying to get this underhook, it's going to be a battle here where he's fighting down, I'm fighting up, where this can be turned into a tough spot here for both guys, where I would say I have the advantage since I have the underhook. Some guys are really good with overhooks, but it's usually going to be more of a battle. He's not going to just let me lift his arm up realistically. So with that in mind, we're doing the same thing that we just did in the previous one, where I'm going for my high crotch, trying to shoot to that. He's going to pull his leg away, but this time instead of letting me lift his arm, he's going to be fighting down, not letting me get to it. So I go to shoot here. I can't get this arm up. He's fighting down. So once I recognize that I can't do my throw by, I'm not finishing my high crotch, what I'm going to do is again try to get this hip as close to his far hip as I can, but I'm going to let him fight down and pull my head out for a second. But I'm going to let him fight his arm down. As he does, I'm going to pull my arm out and replace it with my shooting hand, my initial shooting hand on the high crotch. From here, if you remember before, he usually is going to be pressuring into me a little bit, so this makes it really easy for me to go to his far hip and drag him down to the mat. So I would come here, hip to hip, and drag him down. Now, I don't always have to stay on this knee. Sometimes I'll get hip to hip and we'll be in the air still. Just because I did that one slow, it might be the reason why. But again, so this time I'll keep my head in position. So this transition, it could be a tradition, I guess, if you do it a lot. But this transition is recognizing I can't get what I wanted to go for. You could almost make this a 3-part chain wrestling thing, and I'll show that too. But once I'm here, I go to shoot, I can't get this. He's fighting down. I let my own arm limp arm out. Like I mentioned, I'm not always going to be on my knee here. I was just there for that first example. But I get to here, I'll show you out their side in a second, and I drag him down to the mat. Notice I'm dragging down and forward. I'm not going to be able to sit him straight down. I want his momentum to continue in the direction it was going initially. So from this side, and notice this transition. Try to do it a little slower here. I shoot, hand comes up to this hip. Not around the waist, right on that hip bone there if I can. And as I drag, I'm basically picking a spot right in front of here. My knee's going there. I'm trying to put his hand there to this position, then we can adjust. Now, I kind of mentioned it a little bit before, and so this is kind of a good example of where we could put 3 attacks together. I'm not showing too many of these because we could be here forever going on how many different techniques we could chain together in one place. So for the most part, I want you guys to kind of work on that and figure that out yourselves. And what works best with your style. But from here, say I wanted to try to get to that throw by. So I went to this shot, tried to throw by, he fights down, and now we're putting 3 attacks together. So that's just one example of how you could do that. I might hit on a few more as they come to me as we're teaching. But recognizing the biggest thing is this transition of letting him fight down. So I'm trying to be really strong here with my underhook, not letting him get it. Realizing I'm not going to win this battle, so when I feel him fighting down hard enough, go ahead and fight down. All right, I'm not going to win here. One hand comes out, one comes in, get hip to hip, drag down to the mat. So that transition with your hands there is important, but also recognizing when it's time to give up on one attack too. If I'm really trying to fight with that underhook, there comes a time like, all right, I don't need to be the strongest guy here. I'll let him be the stronger guy, and I'll use it against him to take him down. So this is our arm drag, high crotch to arm drag.